Hello crafters and welcome to the new craft room. I'm Shea and today I'm sharing with you a problem I've been having with my Cricut. This is regular permanent adhesive vinyl. What is this? Do you want to see my Cricut mat? Even worse. This is a brand new Cricut mat. It's shredded. Brand new mat. First of all, I'm going to even explain what happened. So a few weeks ago, I noticed my Cricut blade was not cutting well. It wasn't cutting all the way through, essentially the opposite of what happened here. And I was struggling to weed out things. It was just not happening for me. So I decided, you know what? I bought a bunch of blades, backup blades, when I got my Cricut in the bundle. I guess I purchased these, not knowing what I actually needed at the time, which we'll get into in a minute. So I thought, hey, super simple, I'll change it out. I'll show you how to do that too. And not realizing that I accidentally had the wrong blade. So I just went to Michael's, ran and got this. Obviously 4 years ago, I knew a lot less than I know now. So this is the correct blade. It is a premium fine point blade for the Cricut Explore Air 2. This one is just a fine point blade, so it's missing the word premium in front of it. So I went ahead and grabbed that. I'm going to show you how I changed this. This is a brand new blade. I just put this on a couple days ago and it's shredded my stuff. My mat, my vinyl, everything has just been destroyed. So you're going to pop open this and just pull it right out. Okay, so when you push on this little button, it actually exposes the blade. So push down this button and carefully you're going to pull out the blade. To get your new blade in, super simple. Again, just you have this, you're just going to pop it right on in and gently and carefully, I'm just sliding it in. There we go. And then once I release, it's in. So if you can see, the little tip of it pokes out. So now I'm ready to put it back in my Cricut. It's super simple. So again, push the button, pull it out, pop the new one in, release. That's it. Then to get it back in your Cricut machine, you just place it in port B, close the clamp, and that's it. Good to go. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yes. So it's hard to tell because it's on white, but that worked. So it was definitely the blade. Type of blade I had was the wrong one. Which, I mean, how confusing. There's a fine point blade and premium fine point. Okay, it's really hard to weed up in there like this. Give me a moment. So that was definitely the problem because it weeded like a charm. So that's issue number one you could be having. You might just need to change out your blade, and if you've already done that and you're still having the issue, check which blade you're using. Sometimes it will say it's compatible for the Cricut machine you have. It's not always true. For example, the one I was just using was not compatible. Well, it was compatible, but it was not the right one for cutting things like vinyl and cardstock, and it was just cutting way too deep. It shredded my mat. So we're going to test out this one, the premium fine point blade. The extra word there being premium. This one is the 1.1 millimeter. So I'm hoping that'll make a difference instead of cutting out my vinyl like this. And this was cut on the, not even vinyl setting. It was way less than that. Okay, next step is, if that's still not working, maybe your blade isn't the issue. It could be actually your cut pressure that's the problem. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. Before we do that, if you have a Cricut machine that has one of these dials on the top, make sure you set the dial over to custom. If you don't have one of these dials on your Cricut machine, don't worry about it. You can just skip that step. And either way, now we're going to hop on over to Cricut Design Space. Make sure that your Cricut machine is turned on, and then I'm going to be doing a test cut. So I just made a little shape out of the shapes function on Cricut Design Space. And we're going to go to Make It. Continue. And let it just find my Cricut machine. It's on Bluetooth, so it takes a little bit. Now we're going to go to this set base materials. If this option is not showing up to you and you have one of those dials on your Cricut, like I showed, make sure it's on custom because this option will not come up otherwise. Then we're going to hit browse all materials. And here, you know, you have all the different types of materials you can select. But what we're looking for is this material settings right here. Push on it. And now what this is showing us is the cut pressure right here. The multi-cut function is the amount of times it would cut out. So for example, fabric, it would need to go over it a few times, so that's why that's there. Don't worry too much about it. And then this is just the blade type. So what we're looking at right here is the cut pressure. So let's scroll down to vinyl. We have vinyl here. I'm going to press on edit. And now you can go ahead and add more pressure or less pressure with this little toggle you have here. And honestly, the best way to do it is little test runs. So I'm going to turn it down, let's say 5 to 10 increments. We're going to do save. And then let's try that out. So now we're going to select vinyl. You can also adjust the pressure here. So more or less. And then you're good to cut it out and see how that works. If it doesn't work, that's okay. We can go back in. If that's not it, you can adjust it a little bit more again. So that's the great part of this. You can go in and out kind of and adjust it. Now, something I did also want to share with you once it loads is right here is the dial settings. So this is what the pressure is going to be if I use my little dial on my Cricut. If you don't see this option, you're probably using one of the Cricut machines that do not have a dial on it. So it's just going to be custom materials. And here again, same thing, you can go in and edit them. You can edit multiple of them in one go. Let's say I want to edit all of these and make them different, for example. So you could do all of that. And then when you're done, you're good to just exit out and then select whichever material you're going to be using today. So it's pretty straightforward on that, but it's kind of one of those things where there isn't an exact number. It's going to depend on the type of blade and material you're using and brand of material. So you're really going to need to test it out, and that's why I have a little shape like this that I'm doing little test cuts on to see how it works out for me. So those are the 3 things I would check if you were having the issue of your blade and your Cricut just cutting through the backing of whatever you're trying to cut, your vinyl, your heat transfer vinyl, whatever it is. I would absolutely first try switching the blade. Maybe that's the issue, and you might need just a new one. Or if you do have a new blade, make sure it's the right one and it's on there properly. I went ahead and showed you how to do that, so hopefully that was helpful. And then the third thing is you can actually change your pressure settings directly on Cricut Design Space. Or if you don't even want to go in and just change all your settings, you can just do lightly a little bit less or a little bit more pressure. And I will quickly show you how to do that on the dial as well if you have a Cricut that has a dial. So let's hop on over here and I'm going to show you how to do it. So this part of the video is for people that have a Cricut machine with one of these dials. So this little dot you see here is kind of the, think of it as the arrow or the pointer of what it is. So right now it's pointed at vinyl, but as you can see there are little dots in between. So iron-on and vinyl are here and there's a dot in the middle. So if I turn it this way, it's vinyl plus, so extra pressure, or it's also iron-on minus, so a little bit less pressure. If you're cutting on iron-on, for example, like heat transfer vinyl, and you want a little bit less pressure, just turn it one dial back. Let's say I'm cutting out vinyl and I want it to be less pressure. I'm just going to turn it one notch over. Or if I'm wanting more pressure, I'm going to turn it one notch more. Does that make sense? So this little dial kind of goes up in pressure. So we have like vinyl, iron-on, cardstock, things like that. And it goes up in pressure. So that's what these little notches are in between. It's less and more. Hopefully that helps. Honestly, if you're confused, just go to the custom settings and do it manually on Cricut Design Space. It's a whole lot easier that way, and I find it a lot more user-friendly. But I did want to explain this option in case you have one of these and wanted to know how to use it. Hopefully one of those ways that I just showed you helped with the issue. If it did, please let me know down below in the comments what worked for you and what you think the issue was. That way we can help other people with the issue. And if it was something totally different and you found a different way to fix it, please let us know as well, because I feel like we should be sharing the knowledge. You know, us crafters, things go wrong sometimes, and it's nice to know how to fix it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe and follow for more Cricut tips and tricks, and I will see you next time. Bye for now, crafters.